Coffee, Carl, number 8. This is the 8th installment of Coffee with Carl. What the heck has been going on? Crazy, right? Now, again, I can't thank you enough for your support. You guys have been awesome, especially echoing your constructive criticism and things that you like, things that you don't like about this series. And from what I've gathered, people really dig the fact that it's pretty unscripted and raw. And I think that also it helps to show that, let's face it, you could really script pretty much anything. This is the way that, movies and shows are made, right? And have it be pretty believable. And nowadays, the sophistication of people on YouTube, they've gotten to the point where they could sell you near anything and it would be pretty believable. But to do something off the cuff is where you get the truth. That's why, people have depositions, right? They'll hit you with a whole bunch of questions that maybe you're not ready for. Although maybe some of you haven't been through a deposition. So anyway, and I hope you don't have to be. We just finished up Thanksgiving, and I hope that everybody had a fantastic one. I myself went to Massachusetts, hung out with the wife's family up there. It was a great time. And now we're back. So that's also kind of subject of today's video, which is not a whole lot came out because most brands were promoting their Black Friday event, trying to either offload old stock or whatever, and not a lot of new things came out. So as far as news goes, I kind of had to get a little bit of a twofer, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more of that in a second because there's one thing that did happen that was kind of interesting. Brandle, which is a sub-brand of NYX, released and opened up, I guess, for orders or whatever. Looks like some pretty cool stuff, like kind of a refined service boot type of deal. I don't know that I'll be doing a review on any of these. We'll see. Right off the bat, I'm, kind of indifferent about it, so I guess we'll see. But anyway, they opened up, which was pretty cool. There were a bunch of good Black Friday deals, and if you decided to take advantage of any of those, then great. In my Discord, I posted up a picture or like a document of all the ones that I found personally, and, so hey, take advantage. There's some really good stuff out there. I know that, Wonderlooper, heat straps, a lot of brands had really good deals going on, so hopefully you scored something good if you were looking for it. Myself, what I ended up getting, and this is what I'm talking about, this is kind of a twofer. This is going to be kind of almost a product review. Yeah, I know, a product review in the Coffee with Carl series, because I don't know why. It's not that I don't feel that this piece here is deserving of its own proper review. It's that I feel like I've really covered the peak coat to the degree that it needs to be covered. And I did a whole history on it and everything like that. This is one that I got from Kato brand. And all right, so, you can even see I still have the tag on it right there. So Kato brand is one of those brands that I love their designs, but I don't love their fit. And that's actually kind of the same situation with this. If you don't have a peak coat or if you don't know the history of it, I did a whole video which talks about it from its early military, beginnings to what we have now. This particular peak coat, though, is a little bit different from the original, which is a good thing because the originals were pretty boxy and some people liked that look. Some people really didn't. They also used to have the hand warmer pockets, which were up high, and then lower kind of dump pockets, which, people either liked or they didn't. So I have it actually pulled up on my laptop here. So this is called the Mallet, and it's $588, which is, it's not cheap, but for an American-made Japanese fabric wool coat, that's not bad. I mean, we're in Filson Mackinac Cruiser territory, which I think is very fair. So one of the deals with this, though, is it's 90% wool, 10% nylon. Finding 100% wool stuff isn't as easy as you would think. Even when they say pure wool, that's why there actually are governing bodies behind showing what is pure wool and what isn't, or what's recycled wool and what's brand new wool. It's actually kind of an interesting subtopic, and maybe I'll get into it someday. But all that to say, finding pure wool, it's not as easy as just finding something that says wool on it, because that could encompass any number of things. So anyway, this is a little bit different. It is 10% nylon. They played around with the fit, the layout, and the length. So the length fits more or less right around you kind of like your pockets on your jeans, right around there. So it's below the belt line, but not like a 3/4 length coat. They also went with a slimmer silhouette, which we'll get to in a second. And they ditched the lower dump pockets and moved the hand warmer pockets down, which was very, very smart in my opinion. Here's one of the things that has always driven me nuts about most Peacoats is that when they put their hand warmer pockets up high like this, oftentimes you'll reach in and they've sewn the buttons through. So now you have to end up kind of doing this weird thing with your fingers to get them around the buttons. You can't just stick your hands in there. You're sticking them in and you're kind of like doing this or whatever. And if you have to keep your hands in your pockets for an extended amount of time, or even if you don't, it's just uncomfortable. It's awkward, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that they did that. And they also sewed the pocket bag behind the buttons. So the buttons actually lie on top, which means that the pocket bag is completely open. I think that was a very, very smart move on their part. Made in USA, as I mentioned, they also have an adjustable cuff here, which is really good because the cuff originally is pretty big. So you may want to size that down. And I gotta tell you, I'm actually really impressed with this. They've done some nice covering of the seams inside, which I can't remember if this is called binding or buckling. I can't remember. There's a name for the piece of material that goes over the edge of unfinished, unlined garments. And they've done that here with the exception of the yoke here, which is kind of covered in a piece of probably polyester or nylon. And a lot of times that's really meant just so it slides over your shoulders. It gives you a little bit more structural rigidity there. But they've done a nice job. And why am I including it in this video? Again, you know, I was thinking about it and I'm like, you know, it could have its own video, it could have its own review, but one of the reasons I wanted to tell you about it is that this is a temporary piece. They're gonna make it and then it's gonna be gone. So as a matter of fact, even as I look here, some of the models in sizes are sold out. The medium is sold out, and it looks like if you get, because they actually have a couple of different colors of this as well. They have black, they have the classic navy, and they also have a green. They've done a really nice job, and I wanted to get this out as soon as possible so that if you wanted to buy one, you could. Now, let's get to the one thing that I don't like about this, and that's it seems to be a common problem with a lot of jackets, and that is the sleeve diameter. Now, if I put this on right now, I'm just gonna put it on seated, so it's gonna be a little weird. I'll try to fly in some B-roll here so you can see it a little bit better. Just to illustrate my point though, right? Yep, nice, very nice. I like the weight. Here's the problem though. Look at that sleeve. I mean, I'm wearing a t-shirt under this and I have no room at all there. Like in order to drive, I'd be like, you know, and now look at the size of the cuff. I think they made a mistake by not tapering these arms. I believe this is a straight cut all the way down, and it makes it feel weird because I have a whole lot of room here. Now, granted, I could tighten this up, and then it would look a little bit more, you know, proportional. But man, give me a little bit more space, a little bit more. Oh man, when I put this on, I felt pretty good, and then as soon as I did that, man, it broke my heart. It really did because, man, it's a great piece besides that. Like, you know, why do we have to go so slim on the arms? And this is a Kato thing, unfortunately. I mean, I know that a lot of guys, it fits them well like that, but I am not built that way. And as I mentioned, look at it, I can barely get off my, I'm not built that way. And I'm not even like that big a guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like a professional bodybuilder, or there are guys I work with who have, you know, arms like my thigh. They'd never be able to fit into something like that. And I just don't see where the benefit is. Give me a little bit more room in that sleeve because I can't wear it. Now, I will provide some of the measurements there for you because some people, I think that would be just fine. Most of the people who I meet would probably fit into this without a problem, and it'd be a great option for you. So basically, the long and short of it is, it's a great piece, and I wish it fit me. That's kind of the long and short of it. It's really a heartbreaker. So it's just the swing and the miss, and those arms are enough to just make. I need to be able to put. It's a Peacoat, okay? So I need to be able to layer everything from this was just a t-shirt to a sweater beneath it and have it be a top layer. I mean, now I look at the marketing material and they have a guy here who's, you know, obviously trimmer than I am, wearing what looks like, you know, a couple layers beneath it. And it looks awesome on him. I want to look like that guy, but I just can't. I won't be able to. I'm not built that way, and there's nothing I can do about it. So besides that, which is, again, a heartbreaker because I think they did a really, really nice job, what else has been going on? Well, I released the Brunt Marin review, and now the Brunt boots, I gotta tell you, those things were absolutely terrible. And most of the people in the comments agreed with me. There was a few people who didn't. And that's fine. I totally welcome people disagreeing or having another reason for believing what they believe, but for the most part, people agreed, and it's deceptive marketing. I really don't like it. It really is a big turnoff, and I don't like the fact that although I see what they're doing, I know a lot of other people aren't. And just to say that rubs me the wrong way is a huge understatement. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is we are re-releasing the Workhorse Heavy. That jacket was such a hit that we got so many requests for back in stock. The heat strap guys were open to do another run of it. So, as I mentioned, I don't work for heat straps. This is just we happen to hit on a really, really popular model that people like a lot. And so we were like, all right, cool, let's do another run, but let's do it in something else. The orange wool was like a one-time order thing, and I think it looked really cool, but do something else. So this time we went with a sort of almost a charcoal looking shell, which is the same very heavy 24 ounce or 26 ounce. I can't remember. It's some heavy 24 ounce, I think, waxed canvas with a heavy wool liner. And if you got one of these, if you got the first Workhorse Heavy, you know how insane this thing is. I mean, you put it on, it's basically it's a brick house against anything else out there. These things are amazing. I wore mine the other day and it was 20 something degrees out in the morning. I had to go out and check out some EV chargers in a garage, and even walking around all those floors, if you've ever worked in a parking garage before, you know how the wind just whips right through. It's brutal. It really was like impervious. It was amazing. I had that on, and I think I had a long sleeve shirt underneath it, but that's it. I didn't even layer really properly because I was just gonna go out and whatever. And the thing was awesome. It was really, really great, which means, I mean, it's actually got wool that's basically as heavy as this inside of it. So it's like, I mean, like I said, this thing is just like, you can't get through it. It's amazing. So we're gonna do another run of those, slightly different colorway, and hopefully more people can get their hands on, because man, I just don't, in my opinion, there's nothing on the market that really matches it right now. And I know people will say weather wool, but you still have a wool shell, which is a problem for a lot of people. And Filson, yeah, kind of, but not really, you know? And so this is, I think, when it comes to an American-made sort of heritage workwear looking garment, nobody else is doing it like this. It stands alone. Really, really awesome stuff. So anyway, the Workhorse version 4, I guess it will be, is coming out this weekend. So keep an eye out, because these things, they sell really quickly. And if you want one, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, as somebody who's watched this far into my kind of series that's meant for my like core viewers, you know, my real solid audience, that you get one. So it's coming up. Keep an eye out, and hopefully you can get one on your back for this cold season. Anyway, that's kind of all I got. You know, as I mentioned, a lot of these people are they're focusing on their Black Friday deals and not so much on putting out new material or products or whatever. So hopefully next week we have a little bit more to talk about. But if you're in the market for a pea coat and this like slim arm thing doesn't bother you, I think the Kato brand pea coat is great. They're an awesome company. Everything that I've gotten from them, mostly pants because their tops just don't seem to fit me, have been great. They really have. So I think that this could be a solid option for you if this fits. And I'm really just kind of disappointed that mine doesn't. But hey, whatever. It's just the heartbreak of heritage menswear. Anyway, I'll catch you later.